We are going to go into some of our most successful case studies, guys that have scaled to 8 figures. At this point, I want to invite up the CEO panel. Y'all come on up here. If you're on the CEO panel, come on up to the front of the stage. Guys, give these guys a round of applause. These are all 8-figure contractors. And as they come out here and they get positioned, I want you to look at this. What do all these guys have in common? All these guys have large social media followings. All these guys I've reached out to. One of the biggest reasons Dan was here was not just to teach you about social media growth, but he's going to do an Instagram Live with me. He's got 500,000 followers. I'll probably pick up about 10,000 followers and a bunch of clients off of that at the same time. Not only that, I had this deal when I paid Jorge to come here. The guy who hooked me up, his dad's the vice president, or his uncle's the vice president of NASCAR. He knows Dan, and they had $12 million worth of roofs, and another one of my competing companies, of which some salespeople are here from their company, they might have just lost a $12 million job because it ain't about what you know, it's about who you know. And the Dream 100 are the 100 people that could get you the most referrals, the most customers. And so for me, like all my ideal recruits are in personal development. They're fighters. They're all of my best clients. If you look at Tom, many of us, raise your hand if you're here because of Tom. Raise your hand if you're here. See, thank you, Tom. You're an amazing guy. And he's an example of someone who's built his YouTube. I want to grow my YouTube. So why not ask the guy how we can collaborate to dominate and grow both of our brands? And essentially, that's the Dream 100 approach. And this is the best way to grow your social media brand. These guys are one hell of a group, guys. Give these guys a round of applause. Okay, so first and foremost, Will Miller. Tell them what you did last year, how much you grew, where you're from, what your specialty is.
No, absolutely. My name's Will. I'm the owner of Priority Roofing. We started in 2016. Every year, every full calendar year we've been in business, we've grown about 60%. In 2017, we did about $7 million. In 2018, we did 11.2. In 2019, we did 18.8, and then last year we did 29.5. Dallas is the main location of where we operate. We have a few other locations, but Dallas is where we do about 90% of our revenue. Our specialty is residential. Last year and a half, we started making a big push into the commercial market, but we're still about 95% residential, 5% commercial. What was the other question?
Okay, so this is a cool thing. He asked me when COVID happened, dude, what do we do? I got to get the video ads up. I got to get some leads for my people. I don't want to go door to door right now. And I'm like, okay, we got to sell the biggest jobs in Dallas. We have to go after the people that no one else can get to, the gated community. And there's some other guys that are building a luxury brand in Dallas. He's like, dude, I've got to build that luxury brand. Not only did he build it, he went and built a headquarters, an incredible setup. You have to tell him a little bit more about that. But I actually wrote a sales letter kind of customized for his business so that his sales guys could go into the neighborhood and use an app like Hailtrace to drop pins on roofs that are bad. Or if you're a painter, you would drop pins on houses that have bad paint. But what we did was we dropped pins on the houses that needed roofs. We sent them this direct mail, and then we called them. Tell them about that campaign, what happened.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Honestly, the sales letter was the most effective for us, actually, for commercial, sending directly to commercial property owners. And we've kind of developed a formula for our commercial sales team. The number one source of leads that we get, and we've tried Google Ads, we've tried telemarketing leads, we've tried a lot of different things. The most effective leads for us are direct mail campaigns where we send it directly to the property owner's personal address. And Lee wrote the original letter, and then he encouraged us, hey, whenever you send this letter out, rather than just sending a postcard, there's a company you can use that will actually use a machine that'll imprint the mailing address on it, so it looks like someone actually hand addressed it. So we did that when we do that when we send the commercial mailers out, and we kind of have a formula for us. If we send 2,000 commercial mailers out, costs about 70 cents a piece, and that's with the pen that prints it, and it's a front and back letter. The front tells a little bit of a story, how we're working in the area, how we've worked with another client like them, and this is kind of what happened. The back side has a picture of the sales rep and either their family or maybe in front of their truck, but something that looks professional. Then we have our credentials, and we have a few different references from different commercial property different commercial roof replacements we've done in the past. Then we'll send those letters out. And for us, the formula is if we send out 2,000 and we send it out 3 different times in about a 6-week period, we'll typically get about 15 calls from those mailers over that 6-week period, and that's sending out 2,000 3 different times. That comes out to about $450 a lead. So it's, hey, you're spending money for it, but you're talking about commercial leads. You can target how big the buildings are. You can target the values. And you're talking about property owners that read your letter. They realize they might have storm damage. They want an inspection. They're typically, it's much, much better than telemarketing leads. You get someone that's ready. Hey, do I have storm damage? Do I not have storm damage? I want to know. If I do, then I'm ready to file a claim. So for us, for that cost, but then you're talking about big, large commercial properties, that has been better for us than any type of telemarketing lead. It's been way better than Google AdWords. We've tried a little bit of property management networking. I wouldn't say we've really done great at that part of the market, but honestly, the letter idea that you gave us was the absolutely most effective for return on investment with commercial more than anything else. And I want to say we have 5. Right now, there's obviously in the DFW area, unless there's a fresh storm that hits, a lot of the commercial roof replacements you get if they're old storms, a lot of them end up going through a PA and end up going through litigation long term. It could be a 1 to 2 year process, but right now we have 5 different claims that are written at over $1 million estimates that are in the litigation process right now. I want to say specifically, I know that 3 of them came from those letters.
Heck yeah, guys. Give him a round of applause. That's what you talk about, millions of dollars in return on investment, okay? Millions of dollars of return. Thank you so much, Will. Justin, and I'm so proud of you, man. Last year you held an event. You've also got a Facebook group. I told you on the screen that, at first how you were going to use social media and what it was a little unsure. Can you talk to them about finding your voice and really just putting yourself out there and what it can do for you? And also how sometimes it's not about being perfect with the content, it's just about doing it.
Yeah, it's about doing it. It's you just got to step out of your comfort zone. I'm not comfortable on the mic. You just got to do it. If you don't do it, you ain't got no content at all. So that's mainly the big thing for me. The Facebook thing has been very beneficial. I kind of put myself out there at the job site, like you said. It was just do a build video, do a sales video about promoting your business in the whole 9 yards.
So what was the biggest secret to scaling from 7 million to 14 million? I know you open new locations, which usually means you have to hire leaders. I know
Delegation.
Okay, good. I want to know some of these key hires that gave you more time and what that did for you.
It allowed me to work for my business, not in my business. And delegation is key because it gives you more time to work for the business itself.
What was the biggest reason why there was growth? What do you think was the biggest? Was it recruiting? Was it?
Recruiting for sure. Just being I invest in the people who work for us. It's important. It's not about the training and all that. It's invest in the person who's sitting there. What are his dreams and aspirations? Not what are yours, because they might not align with that as well.
Now, you also work with your wife. I work with my wife. I work with my dad. What's it like working with family? How do you balance that? You work with your wife and your dad.
I do.
Can you talk about that?
It's stressful sometimes. Like you said, you want to get in a knockdown, drag out, but it's something you kind of balance. Without my wife and my dad, we wouldn't have the business we have today. So that's very important for sure.
All right, guys, give Justin a round of applause. Now, Derek.
Hold on, he said he's not very comfortable behind the mic, but you and I both saw him last night on the mic in the club.
Okay.
Right? Remember that?
He gets a couple drinks in him. He's fine. But hey, Derek, he runs an incredibly efficient operation, and he comes from a corporate background, and he was a guy that was so hungry for information when he started in the business that he was willing to work for free. He was willing to give up his time to learn. And now his business yields a higher percentage than a lot, and it's not so many people. I have all these people. He's got less people, higher efficiency. What are the keys to running a tight ship, collecting your money, being able to keep the cash flow going, and do it without having to have so many people?
Yeah, so first of all, give you guys a round of applause. If you guys are here today, taking time away from your business to do it, so you guys really are the ones that are here. So for us, we really want to be a premium product in a commodity-driven marketplace. We recognize in most markets, especially the markets we operate in, everyone chases the market down. And when you do that, it's hard to make investments in your people, and for us, it's really hard to make investments in roofing for a cure. And that's what our organization's about. That's why we position our brand as a premium product against almost everybody else in the marketplaces we operate in. And when people ask us, they said, well, you're X thousands of dollars more expensive. And the reason is, quite frankly, it's because we give 6 figures a year to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital because we're passionate about helping sick kids eradicate cancer.
Hey, give him a round of applause.
And so what's amazing with that is not only does it allow other contractors in our market to get on board with being more philanthropic and donating to things they're passionate about, but we deliver in that. And so our referrals and our referral network, they expect us to deliver at such high quality. They're willing to pay us a premium in the marketplace to do it and being excited about the cause and the why we're doing things.
What I love about Derek's system is that he incentivizes his sales guys by giving them upfront commissions if they're able to get a large portion of cash. Can you talk to him about that system and how you're able to get the upgrade, the deductible, the check, and train that into better cash flow for your business?
Yeah, I think, everybody's business is different, but when we set out 12 plus years ago, we wanted to create a healthy business, a debt-free business where everything we bought, if we didn't pay for it in cash, we weren't going to grow. And if we couldn't give 6 figures a year, we didn't want to grow. So what we realized is, especially if you do insurance work, it's really, really hard for salespeople to make it through that period of time as you're going from inspection to demo to adjuster meeting to homeowner meeting to builds to all that stuff, mortgage companies, all that bull crap on the insurance side. So what we realized is people actually want to pay us, and they don't really want us as their contractor to wait for money. So it was this novel idea, why don't we just ask our clients to pay us everything up front? And in doing that, why don't we just pay our salespeople everything up front? And what amazing happened was, instead of carrying millions of dollars of AR, all of a sudden we carry very, very little AR, and a majority of our clients pay, on average, we get about 70 to 80% of the job up front, and they love to pay us. And so in doing that, we pay 70 to 80% of the commission up front.
Way to go, guys. That's bad to the bone. Now, we talked a little bit about commercial, and we talked about, hit your home market being Atlanta. You've got 2 markets. You had some key players in and out of the business. You've had to step up. There's ebbs and flows to sitting on top of the world whenever you've got a big company and the American dream. And all of a sudden, now you got to find yourself back in what we call embracing the suck. But how do you talk to them about what you've done this year? And then I think the big gains from those commercial jobs, it's a big part of it. So can you kind of incorporate how that really helped the momentum?
Yeah, I think for us, it's always about creating margin, right? Like, what is the margin in your life you're trying to create? Whether it's creating more time with your family, creating more margin in your bank account, how are you creating that margin? And so for us, especially when turnover happens, key people leave the business, no matter how passionate you are, somebody's not always going to share your same vision. And so for us, it's tough too, especially when you drive such high profit margins. The most dangerous thing you can do is get complacent, right? So for us, we try to stay broke every single month by feeding it back into key people and being willing to take chances on more and more people and developing more leadership positions. So as soon as the money comes in, we want to invest in more people. And that's how it keeps us hungry and keeps us pressing through those dips and those highs, for sure.
And that's the biggest thing that's challenging for people is they make the money and you want to be able to cash it out. But the reality is, of course, all the taxes, it's not about the money, it's about the people. It's what Myron was talking about, serving the people, using the money to serve the people. And that's really where the American dreams happen. So give him a round of applause. All right, my man Tyler here. Talk to him about where you were when you first started with Skydiamonds. He's one of the biggest social sales kings. He's known in Dallas as a guy that's got an exciting opportunity, just like the turnover chain at Miami. They have a chain that they pass around at Proclaim. They got culture. You implemented solar this year. You got commercial deals. And talk to him a little bit about how, before you worked with us versus after, and then what was different about this year.
So before I worked with Lee, I was doing about, I did 4 million. I just started up in 2016. So still, I still consider myself a young entrepreneur. Started up, did about 4 or 5 million our first year. Second year did about 10 million. And then we were just kind of hit a stagnant pace. And, we just needed better systems, needed better sales processes, better training. Lee offered that. And then he showed me those secrets, right, with cold calling commercial, hiring people, the recruiting ads. and it really added the juice to my business, and that's what I needed. But then I hit another stagnant year, and we had to reevaluate people, leadership. And in the past year, that's kind of the biggest thing that's helped is we swapped out a lot of leadership, a lot of people for new winners, and it's made all the difference. And Lee's a big preacher about leadership and having the right people in the right seats. With Lee working with his dad Donnie, and I know he's got great employees at RRCA, and that's what makes him such a great company. But for me, Lee's just been a big brother. He's been a great example. And he's helped me especially pursue the commercial roofing game. And as far as getting into solar last year, this is a complete game changer for me. One thing about solar is every roofing customer is your solar customer for life, or vice versa, right? Because when you put solar on a roof, the first person they're going to call with any issue is you, the solar company, right? So if you're a roofing and a solar company, guess what? You have every customer for life. So we're now getting into commercial solar, and I mean, we're saving people millions of dollars on their electricity. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the federal government pays for 26% of these systems. So if you can loop those together, which we've figured out we can, I mean, you're saving people millions and millions of dollars, and you're providing massive value. And life's all about angles, right? So if you can come in at a different angle than the other 10 guys that they've talked to, then guess who's going to win that deal? So,
amen, guys. And the biggest thing that Tyler does is he keeps moving forward with positive enthusiasm. Look, I said a prayer. It's like, God, grant me the serenity, accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the thing I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I know it comes from Roofers in Recovery. I know it comes from Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't go to the program, but I think it's an awesome prayer. And when people go out of your business and things happen without your control, like COVID, government shutdowns, dude, you have to focus on what you can control. And you can't live in the past. You can't beat yourself up. Tyler does an amazing job of staying future-based, focusing on the solution, and just keep moving. And a lot of times people, when they lose key people or they have a little moment of stagnant and they beat themselves up, maybe you're one of those guys, give yourself a break. Understand that businesses are designed to break. When you scale your business, it breaks. You redesign it, and then you continue to grow it. And one thing is adding solar, continuing to create social media content, recruiting. He's a leader for Sky. I know a lot of people come to him for advice, and he's been able to coach a lot of other contractors. That's what we are as a brotherhood. We hold each other up, and Tyler knows that through helping you, he's actually helping himself be the best version of himself. And that's what I hope everyone learns from this, is by creating content, being a coach, adding value to the marketplace, you're not only going to get more known and get more jobs and get more salespeople, but you're going to get a better version of yourself. The people that are coming to you are going to help hold you to a higher standard. So let's give him a round of applause. Now, Eric has scaled an incredible storm catcher roofing business, and he's in Omaha, in an area that's really, really, it's a good market with high-end homes. And one of the things that he's done this year is something very unique, with roofers and contractors being a commodity. He's got his own digital marketer, and inside of his office, they're creating leads through Facebook. But more importantly, he wanted to take it a step further, and he wrote a book for his clients. And now he's going to educate all of his clients on how to select a contractor. And the real reality is, we haven't talked about this, Eric, but if you can get your clients to pay, $7 a book, you can cover the cost of the advertisement. You could send that to cold traffic, and you can run that through Facebook and sell your books in your market about how to sell a contractor. But, talk to them about how you plan on using that. Talk to them about, scaling. You went to a new location in Iowa. I don't know if you've been to multiple locations. And also, you really went all in with your door-to-door team and the culture of your door-to-door team and really improved it. So maybe you could touch on some of that and talk about how that's helped.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. So the book thing was an idea that I got from somebody else, and I went and wrote it. It was literally 5 chapters of shit that I spew out of my mouth every day anyway, right?
Right.
Like, it's stuff I talk about every day. And so I went and put pen to paper on it and wrote 5 chapters and tried to make it a book that a client could literally read, sitting on the toilet in 15 minutes, so that they read it from cover to cover and actually finish it. And it's just about how to choose a contractor, and there's a little checklist on the back, which obviously we check all the boxes. But what was really cool about it was after I was done with it, the intention was for my door knocking team that they were going to take it out and hand it out to prospective clients, just to be like, hey, it's a gift. Our owner, wrote a book on how to choose a contractor. And it was funny because after I finished it, I had a lot of other contractors around the country that just called me and they're like, hey, can we get a couple hundred of those? We're going to hand them out. I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm not trying to make money on the book. Like, we're selling them for what it costs to make them just to get the name out there. But yeah, so I'm really excited because we just finished it, so we're just implementing it. So maybe next year I can report back how much we
I talked to my man
killed it
Myron
on
Golden.
that.
He white labels his book.
Who's
He
that?
lets other people co-author his book. Myron does, and it gets in front of more people and builds his brand at the same time. And as you build your brand, the more people you get that book in, the more you're an authority. So I can really now that you got that product, dude, you can do so many things with it. We sold 10,000 copies of my book. A lot of people are in here because who in here has a copy of Contracting Growth Secrets? All right, sweet. Everybody gets a copy of the book. Nobody's going to leave here without a copy of the book. But,
Who's got a copy of my book? No? Oh, see? All right, there you go.
Eric, so door-to-door is challenging. Getting guys motivated is challenging. Salespeople get complacent, and there's a revolving door. What's your secret for leadership in driving your sales team or just getting the most out of the guys that are really just like C players? Like, not everybody's an A player. You got C's, B's, and A's. Like, how do you keep them motivated and hold them accountable?
So to be completely transparent, I was never a door knocker and never believed in it. About 2 years ago, we completely shifted our culture to that. And I always wanted to build more of that. And I knew that I wasn't good at it, so I went and found somebody who was. And so I went and found a guy who all he did at his old company was retail door knock, retail siding and windows. Like, that's hard. And so I brought him in and I said, hey, let me teach you about storm work. And he's like, I don't want to do storm work. I can sell retail all day. And I'm like, let me show you how to sell storm work. Like, this is fucking easy compared to what you're doing. Brought him in, showed him it for a month, and he got done. He's like, so I want to sell some more storm work. I'm like, yeah, you do. And so we built a team around him, right? So I always want to find talent because I know that I'm not always the smartest guy in the room. I might be the easy button to answer the questions, and that's always the struggle as owners that we deal with, is that we're always the easy button because we always have that answer, and so we got to get them to take ownership of their department and everything. But that's been everything that I've been doing this year, is getting guys to take ownership of that department and get them to rah up, and then I do the sneak in and be like, oh, Eric's here. Let's do a fucking balls of the wall sales meeting,
Nice.
today. So I think that's kind of fun, and it makes it, a little more.
Question. Did you believe Facebook ads would work for you?
No.
Okay, what happened?
Well, so we started doing in-house marketing for that, like you talked about, and we brought a girl in that's doing everything for us in-house. What we were surprised when we changed our mindset for us on our Facebook ads is we're doing it for the branding. Right. And we're doing it for a lot of the branding because, as we talked about before, we've transitioned a lot. My background's in commercial work, in commercial low slope. And getting back into that market sometimes is pretty tricky because you have to get that trust from people and they need to know who you are. And so we really focused really hard on our Facebook marketing for branding. Like for not even for like sign up for a roof inspection, right? We really pushed it really, really hard. And the feedback that we've gotten has just been amazing, and then I don't want to call them leads, right? But we get leads from it organically because I can walk into a room now and they're like, oh, you're that guy, right? Because now I'm that guy in my market. Not here, nobody knows who I am, but in my market, they know who I am. So
that's the thing. When the Facebook, it allows you to create the leads while you build a brand, and I really think using my frameworks would get you more exact return on investment. I think that the other coach doesn't have what I have, so we need to talk more, buddy. All right, because what you just told me is you ain't making enough money on Facebook. All right, so we can fix that.
Deal.
All right, Scott, this guy's been doing $40 million since 2012. He's one of the OGs in the business. You got to give him a round of applause. All right, this man is a legend. In Denver, there's a whole Alcoholics Anonymous Center, and I was in the program at the time, 18 years old, and I went to this Halloween party. And it was a bunch of sober people dressed up, acting crazy. And this guy created the Halloween party, and he's a celebrity inside of this culture in Denver. And a lot of people coming through his business through this celebrity. And he's been building a personal brand even before social media. Now, taking it to social media is just the next step. But hiring salespeople is his expertise. Holding people accountable is his expertise. Recently, I had an internal consultant really kind of help me redesign my system that allowed me to go from 8 figures to 9 figures, and we worked with a similar guy. So can you talk to him about when you get real big and when you start to go these problems and when you have to kind of stop everything, redesign it, and the challenges of having to implement new systems and how you can keep up with so much growth?
Yeah, thanks, Lee. Thanks for having me. Let me, everybody, truly appreciate letting me come here because I just realized I'm the old guy now. And when I started, I was the young guy and full of piss and vinegar and didn't know any better. And how many of you guys in here went from the double-page phone book ad to online marketing, to Google, Ask Jeeves? I had somebody come into my office and say, "You need to get with Ask Jeeves." I'm like, "So you want me to, I got piles of leads on my desk. I can't even get enough salesmen to run them from the double-page phone book ad." And that's when I knew I needed to go to Google, right? I needed to go to the internet, and I had to pay. When you talk about invest in your company, I had to realize that I needed to invest in my company, and I'm paying back in the 90s, I'm paying $250,000 for this double-page ad. Like I had to take a mortgage out on my kidneys to get this ad, right? And I'm just thinking, if I don't, and thank God we got the hailstorm of the century. I paid for this. I had more leads than I knew what to do with, but eventually I started getting all the leads from online, right? And then I figured out how to beat online, how to beat Google, how to outsmart Google, and then that stopped, right? And then Google got smart, and they hired smarter people than me. So then I'm sitting here during COVID. I don't know if you guys are thinking that I had COVID, right? I'm waiting for the test to come back, and I'm with Kurt and a bunch of guys in Jamaica with SRS, and I'm for sure I had COVID, right? So for 12 days, I'm pacing the floor, nothing's wrong, and I'm gonna die, and I bought some Bitcoin, and
just in case, life insurance.
I did so much shit that I never would do. And that's when I said, man, what is this next step I'm gonna take? Where am I gonna go? What direction am I gonna take to get in the future? And I think it's right here. I think it's social media. I think and look, I used to do Facebook ads, and I used to do it the way I thought I knew how to do it, right? But I had to get somebody smarter than me. I had to do what I know works. I had to take from here, and I have to put it here. So I believe the world that we're in today is the same world. I don't know how many of you guys went from the phone book to the internet, right? I don't know how many people did that, but it was a tough road. And I believe we're in that same road, right? Because everybody in here knows how much money Google has and how, where we're gonna go. And we need to partner with them, but we also need to find other revenues. And I believe that this is a great thing. I'll end it with this, right, Lee? When you and Aaron called me a couple weeks ago, I was real happy. Aaron, he did a real good job helping me integrate my system because you did ask me. So that's one part of it, the marketing, right? Anybody can market, anybody can get leads, you can knock doors, you can do this, but we only get paid as owners of companies or salesmen if we get paid for the roofs that are put on. So we can't forget that we're in the service industry. We're there to help people protect the biggest investment that most of them are ever gonna make in their life, and that's their home. And for me, I couldn't do that, right? I couldn't do that with a pencil anymore. I couldn't do it with a calculator. And I'm trying to run thousands of roofs with a pencil and an old magnet board and a broom closet. And so then I needed to change, right? So I invested in the people. I invested in the people that could set, because the storm's gonna come. If you build it, it will come. But you have to believe in it, and you have to do it. And I was able to do that, and I was able to build a system that I can scale up, and I can scale down because I'm in cold weather states. Florida, you know, you have the rainy season. Colorado, we have a blizzard coming. Thank God I'm stuck in Florida. But that's the things that you have to do as an owner, right? And that's why you need to come to events like this, because you need to see what other owners, other salesmen. I mean, there's, like you, Lee, like a lot of people in this industry, we got to come from somewhere, right? So why not here?
Absolutely, guys. Give him a round of applause. Thank you for coming, Scott. That was incredible. My man Keith here, he's a true visionary. He's been in the game a long time. Retail, storms, he does it all. Remodeling windows. And he's got a diversified playbook. I mean, he works with banks. He has a special relationship. So, Keith, first of all, you know, you were successful way before you ever got in a program. Give them some insight on what you were able to apply this year. We did some different things. And then also, I want you to touch on what you do with banks and how you're able to, you know, work, you know, in an angle no one else really operates in.
Okay, thanks, Lee. First. Hello? Any
There you
better?
go.
First, thanks for having us here. Thanks for the invite up here. So we have been so engaged with your program, and we were, like I said, we've been in it for a while. We've been doing okay, but what we really see is the opportunity here, the recruiting and the commercial. I think that's huge. That's huge for us, and we think that we're going to do way better once we get that stuff started. As far as our other things that we do some repairs for reverse mortgages nationally. And that's something that we just make sure that the elders get taken care of. And that's been pretty good for us as well.
Heck yeah, man. And he's got some door-to-door teams in the D.C. market. And he works with his son. His son's here with him. And, you know, working with father-son teams is awesome. So, you know, sharing championship moments with your son like this are really fun. Can you talk about, leading a team, working with family, and some of the challenges that come with being, sometimes you gotta, like I said, me and my dad, we've had a relationship where it's always been, you know, sort of a fight for the truth and two bulls. So can you talk about, you know, what you've been able to do? Obviously, you're making some big strides.
So that's a big one. And sometimes a touchy subject. My brother's in the business. He's also a part of the program. And he's one of my biggest, I'm one of his biggest fans. And he's one of our biggest reasons I'm here. I've watched them over the last, 9 months, triple the amount of salespeople, triple the amount of revenue. And he went from, just when he first started his program, I bought a $2 million house down in Florida that he's now looking at a $7 million house in Florida. Those kinds of life-changing events.
You bought a $400,000 boat too.
Yeah. That was the second boat.
Oh yeah.
That was the second
Forgot
boat.
about the 60.
So, but it doesn't come out, with the family stuff, we butt heads. There's territory things. But at the end of the day, everybody's want to see everyone do well. And it's pretty good. But the opportunities here, I can tell everybody, they're endless. You can take it from, I know it's about to happen with us, but I watched it in a short period of time, double and triple your revenue. It's life-changing.
It is, man. And I tell you, Chris would have been here. He had something come up. His business grew from 14 million to 20 million. But your business is about to blow up. We're going to do something that we ain't never done before. And look, if somebody's open-minded and coachable, I'm going to pour my heart and soul into them. I'm going to give them access. I'm always going to be available. We've had some steak dinners. We've had some good opportunities. Me and your son and you, we need to have some more of those, conversations, so that we can execute hitting $20 million in 2021, guys. Well, give this CEO panel a round of applause. These guys are incredible. We've got something really cool coming up, guys. Thanks, everybody. We're fixing to recognize some winners. I really appreciate that. Justin, hang out on stage here. I got something for you. You're special. Oh, you're special, my friend. I got something for him, okay, guys? Will you go hook me up? Okay, here we go. Let me get this. I've been obsessed. About 7 months ago, I started doing boxing. And look, when I joined a coaching group, they told me that recognition is stronger than fear. So let me tell you something. This man grew his business from 7 million to 15 million. He is the light heavyweight champion of Skydiamonds Elite. Okay? Soderberg Contracting right here. Light heavyweight champion for most growth. And if you look at that belt right there, tell him what that says right there.
Social sales king.
He's a social sales king. He went from a guy unsure about creating social media content to a guy that's got a movement. And that right there, put that belt on, dude. You're a BMF. Give us a real quick speech on the most important components of how you were able to get the most growth.
Really people. I'll say it again. Myron said it earlier. People. People is the most important thing.
Hold it up.
People is the most important thing. Invest in your people. That's what I would say. Invest in your people and do what's right always. I don't want to steal Sam's line, but always don't worry about the profit first. Worry about your people, worry about the job, and then the money will come.
Last year you were at the event. You knew that you weren't going to be involved in no program. What happened and what happened after?
The event last year, I was here. I wasn't going to be involved in the program. I did, and it definitely changed my whole life. It's stepping out. I wouldn't be standing on this stage in front of you guys for sure if it wasn't for Lee. I wouldn't definitely be getting this belt, and I appreciate it, and I'm happy to be here.
Hey guys, let's give this guy a round of applause for being a social sales king, light heavyweight champion of Skydiamonds Elite. Yeah. All right, now we got the middleweight champion, okay? Y'all heard about this guy. Ricky Southers, come up here and get you a belt, bro. Heck yeah, give this man from New Hampshire a round of applause. He was afraid to invest into himself. He was one of the last people to join the program last year. He reinvested, he's still in the program. We did a hiring event for him. We went and did a door-to-door blitz. Ricky Southers, bro. He went from 2 million. What was your first when you came in here? What did you do the year before?
We did 2.7.
And this says 8.7 total sales for 2020. He's a social sales king. Here, man. That's your belt, bro. Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you. Take your picture here with my man Jay. Yeah. Here we go, number 7. Tell him a little bit about being unsure about content. Have you ever bought a personal growth program or development program or coach?
Well, for me, it was about 2 years ago. First 6 years of my business, I just worked. I thought the harder I worked, the more money I was going to make, and it's just not true. And I started looking for people to help me in my growth. I actually researched a lot of people, and the biggest thing I learned was to surround myself with great people. And how do I get great people? I didn't know the best way to do it. Using your program through the recruiting methods is what really helped me. And then also the biggest thing we started doing is the educating homeowners aspect. And I do it through the videos through social media, and that's helped me tremendously, and that's what's given us the growth now. Most of our growth was just in the last 7 months of last year because I fought it for the first 3 months or so. When I finally said, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do the videos, I got somebody to help me with production, I got somebody running my sales team, and all I'm doing is marketing and spreading my message, and from there, in the last 7 months, it was most of our growth. So now I got the whole year of 2021 to keep growing.
And tell them how much you didn't believe or what you were unsure of, because there's a lot of people unsure that this will work for them. Tell them that did you think that because there was insurance involved in my sales process that it wouldn't work for you?
So that was the biggest thing that separated us, because I'm almost 100% retail. Except for the first day that Haight came and visited us, there was a hailstorm, which is crazy. That's another story.
We made it rain, baby. Sky Diamonds.
So the biggest thing there is that I fought against it because I would make the videos, I'd delete the videos. I'd make the videos, I need to make it better. I needed the newest gadget, I need to figure out something else. And then Haight said one thing in one of his videos was to do the Facebook Live challenge, just do it. You can't delete it, you can't go back, it's out there. And once I started just doing it, even now when I watch my videos, I stumble over my words, and they don't always make a lot of sense to me, but to the people on the outside, the homeowners, it's genuine. They love it. I got people that stop me at dinner now, and they think I'm some kind of special person. In reality, install roofs and try to help as many people as I possibly can. And that's kind of given me the most growth.
Man, I tell you, that gives me goosebumps, guys. Give him a round of applause. Now, I got a question for you, Ricky. How many videos did you put on social media before we met?
Before we met, I didn't put any.
What do you mean, zero?
Zero. I put pictures and paid somebody a bunch of money to do some stuff for me that I could do myself.
Ooh, how many of us in the audience have done zero videos but want to be a social sales king, huh? Hold that thing up. This could be you, guys. Hell yeah, Ricky.
Nice.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank
That was badass, man. All right, guys. Our next award winner is really, somebody that I wanted to be here to share his story because he won the digital door knocking challenge, meaning his videos generated the most business. Their videos were the highest quality. It's Dustin Douglas. He was a firefighter, and he had personal issues. He's got a daughter, and he had to be at home for her, and something came up. The reality is that Dustin invested his whole year's salary, like $60,000, and it was every dollar he had. As a matter of fact, when he was advertising, one day he overdrafted his bank account. But look, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can always sell one more deal. You can get a down payment. You can cash flow growth with OPM, other people's money. Dustin did it, and in 1 year he did $4 million. At this point, it's about 16 months into it. He's done $6 million, and this year I believe he can end with an 8-figure year. So I'm gonna hold this up for him. He's on FaceTime. What's up, Dustin? How you doing, buddy? Hey, I got this for you, my man. Welcome everybody. Everybody give Dustin a round of applause, everybody. Here's your Social Sales King belt. There you go. Douglas Construction. There's your logo right there, buddy. You can put this up in your office. It says $4 million in total sales. You, my friend, are a social sales king, and really wish you were here, buddy. But next time, we'll love to have you, my friend.
I appreciate it. I hate I missed it, but it was for good reason, man. So hope y'all are having a good time. Sorry I couldn't make it, but I'm grateful for everything y'all have done for me, for sure.
Okay, guys, give him a round of applause one more time. All right, man, this is your belt, buddy. Really appreciate you. So here, this belt right here is for Josh. Josh, he's actually sick right now. He thinks he might have coronavirus, so he couldn't come and accept this. But this man started my program at $16 million in sales. He implemented our system and grew to $60 million. Maybe you've seen the YouTube podcast. He has a hybrid system of retail and insurance. And the biggest thing about Josh is he has the biggest, your standards are what you tolerate. And if you work for Josh, if you don't sell 15 jobs in a month, then your commission gets cut in half. And guess what? His salespeople have the highest average out of any of my students, and their average is higher than mine. And one day, very soon, this man probably is going to surpass the growth of even my company because, dude, there's room for all of us to be the best. There's room for all of us to be social sales kings. And so I want to recognize Smart Roof, Dan Lucas, Josh Yergy, right here, $60 million in sales, social sales king. Give him a round of applause. From 16 million to 60 million. Last year they did 30 million. This year they did 60 million. Their best year in COVID. And so I want to say, guys, as a blue-collar entrepreneur, you have to see these stories, and this has to give you hope that you can become a social sales king. As you can tell, social sales kings are taking over the market. Even guys like Scott, who recognize that he needs to go more all into this social media stuff. Even though he's doing millions of dollars a year, making millions of dollars off of real estate, he knows that this is the next big investment, and he's got to go all in to protect the momentum that he has. And it doesn't matter if you're a small guy like Dustin, or a big guy like Scott, or a big guy like Josh, or maybe you consider somebody that's doing 8 figures, 15 million a year, just way big. The reality is, you got to start creating content. Biggest fear you have is that you have to figure it out, but you don't have to figure it out. We're going to give you the same scripts that these guys use to build sales teams. We're going to give you the same scripts that these guys use to generate leads. And here's the thing. We want to work with you, but we can only help a few people. Look, here's the deal. I'm going to work with 250 people from this room, but I want to work with the best fit. Now, every single person in this room has the opportunity to fill out an application to be one of those 250. Now, I'm not taking any money today because this is not about money. This is just finding out the serious versus the curious, the doers versus the dabblers. And I want to know on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious you are about becoming a social sales king.